Hi everybody, my name is Jim. Welcome back to Lake Effect Gardener. Happy spring to all of you. At last, the day we've been waiting for so long has arrived. It's the first day of spring. It's the day where the daytime and nighttime are equal, which means tomorrow we're going to have more daylight than we will nighttime, which is fabulous. So I'm going to use this opportunity and this glorious day to take care of part 2 of the polytunnel. So the next step that has to be taken is building the base. And I've given this a lot of thought as to what materials I'm going to use. This is not something that I should really skimp on. I want to do something that's going to have longevity. I want to do something that has a lot of strength. And I want to do something that will improve the tunnel, okay? So I've got my little plan book here, and I've just got some notes and things that I've doodled out here. And I really, when it comes to the lumber that I'm going to be buying, first of all, the longest piece of lumber that I can purchase that will fit in my little mini clubman are 8-foot lengths. So I'm going to be purchasing 8-foot lengths of pine. Pine is really good. All of my raised beds are made from pine, and they've, touch wood, have been really good, and they've really stood the test. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'm thinking that, excuse me, I'm going to be using heavy, thick wood. So I'm going to go take a look at what that's going to be like. I've done some math, and as it looks, I'm going to be needing about 8 pieces of wood. Okay. That's approximate. I could probably go 9, but I don't think I'm going to need that much. So I'm just going to go with 8, and I'm going to get a couple of things too to secure the frame to the base. So I'm going to get some deck screws, I'm going to get some washers and things like that. So this is a very exciting time. I'm going to go get my lumber now, and then we're going to miraculously appear back here in the garden, and I'm going to show you my haul. I apologize if I'm squinting a little bit because the sun is really bright. That's nothing to complain about. I'm thrilled, actually. So I just got back from the big box store, and I purchased the lumber for just the base of the polytunnel. I didn't buy any of the lumber that's going to be securing the cover to the base or anything structural when it comes to doorways, railing, and stuff like that. That's going to be for another trip. But anyways, I did get the base. I got 8 pieces of heavy yellow pine, which has a pretty good resistance to rotting. It's not as good as cedar, but I didn't want to mortgage the house in order to buy cedar because it's really expensive. So I got 8 pieces, and the dimensions that I bought were 2 by 2 by 8. So it's 2 inches wide, 2 inches, well, deep, and then 8 inches tall. So you can imagine with 8 inches added to the bottom of the polytunnel how much taller it's going to be. Now I don't know if you can see over here, I did a little test piece with, this is another piece of 2 by 2 by 8 that I had lying around. And I can't believe with that, the raising of that polytunnel, how much head clearance I have. It's going to be wonderful. I'm always used to kind of doing this whenever I walk into a structure. So I'm really pleased about that. What I'm going to do first is probably the 10-foot lengths. Now, if you remember, my polytunnel is 10 feet wide by 20 feet deep, okay? I'm going to do the 10-foot lengths first, so the front and the back, so that I can use what I've cut off to kind of join the longer lengths together, okay? I'm going to have more than enough lumber to do this base. So I'm pleased about that, but I am going to have to join 8-foot lengths in order to get to the 20 feet that I'm going to need. So whatever leftover lumber I cut from the front and the back will be the lumber that I use to join those together. So as always, whenever you're doing any type of construction involving wood and cutting, make sure you follow the old adage that you measure twice and cut once. Especially when it's something like this, when I'm affixing, a dimensional structure to a base, you really want to make sure that everything is good so that, you don't run out of wood or you have too much wood, etc., etc. We want to make it really, really close. So I'm going to go out and get my circular saw. I'm going to bring it back over here and going to fast forward that section. And then we're going to start putting things together. Before I did my measuring, what I made sure to do with the extra little pieces of lumber that I had lying around is to make sure that I include the lumber that's going to be running the 20-foot length here at the corner, okay? And then I'm going to be starting the 10-foot length, all right, that's going to be connected to the one that's running this way. So you've got to include that 2 inches into the measurement. Now, they say it's 2 inches, but it's never approximate. So it's really important that you measure exactly how deep these side pieces are going to go, because you have to kind of add that into the measurement. So here's an 8-foot length, okay? And then what I did was, the log's kind of laying down here, but I did the same thing, okay? I hit it up like this, okay? And then what I did is I measured between that point and there. So I came up with 17 inches. 17 inches. So what will happen is then, when I make that cut, I will be able to not only affix those 2 small pieces together, well, this 8-foot length and the 17-inch length, I will also be able to affix the first 8-foot length that runs on either side. By the marvels of technology, ta-da, here's a 17-inch cut. Well, I had actually filmed cutting it, but for some reason it didn't work out. So anyways, just to show you what I did, to give you an idea, I took my 17-inch measurement, and what I did was I measured at the top, measured at the bottom, okay, took my handy dandy T-square, and then joined those 2 measurements together, like so. Here's 17 inches, and what I did was I took my circular saw and I went, I guess it's a good thing that you guys didn't hear it. I think it might have been a little bit loud. So anyways, here's my cut. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start joining things together. And I will show you what that looks like when everything is secured. All right. So you can see right here that I have joined the 17-inch length to the 8-foot length, and I used just a piece that I cut off of another larger piece to put them together. I'm using these 3-inch deck screws, okay, and they're self-drilling self-drilling, yeah, screws, that's the word. Anywho, and you can see that I secured it here, so there's 4. And then I did either side with 3, joining those 2 pieces together. I did the same on the other side. Now, if you notice here, the tunnel's kind of wonky, but that's fine. That's because the whole thing is not sitting up on lumber yet, so it's kind of bending and making, it really, I don't know, kind of makes me feel like this is a bit of a flimsy tunnel, but I don't know. It's not going to be when I'm done with it. So I think instead of doing the other 10-foot length, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going down on either side, and connecting those. I do have that one piece of lumber that I cut the 17-inch piece out of, so I can just continue cutting that into smaller pieces to connect them, and I'll still have more than enough. So I'm going to do that now, and I will show you what it looks like when I get there. That was a workout, I'm not going to lie. All right, so the base is done. The base is finally done. Let's take you through. Now, I had mentioned to you that this yard was in a slight incline, and I thought maybe that I could get away with, kind of floating the base over the top, but as it turns out, because the base lumber is in pieces, it was awkward. It was rather wonky. So, as you can see here, I had to excavate around the perimeter in order to get this tunnel to be as level as possible so that things would just sit flat. So I think it turned out really well. I'm very, very happy. And you can see how high the tunnel is now, which is wonderful. It's kind of weird walking through here and not having to hunch over a little bit, so I'm pleased about that for sure. Now we have to move on to the next step, and I started doing the next step only because I wanted to make sure that the tunnel would stop moving as I was, creating the base. It probably would have been a lot easier for me to build the base first and then put the frame up around it, but I'm glad I did it this way. It was a little extra work, but I feel like I really got a very good approximation. And just to give you a little view here, this was all I was left in the way of lumber. So I'm not very good at math, but by golly, I got it correct. So down here, let me just show you. You can see that I have affixed the frame to the base, okay? And I'm using the same deck screws that I used to connect the pieces together, okay? So they're 3-inch deck screws. So we've got a pretty decent run of screw going into the lumber, which I'm pleased about. Now, if you notice, underneath this deck screw, I've got a washer here. And I actually purchased these. I saw them and I was like, oh, this is really perfect. But over here, these are washers that have a neoprene rubber on the bottom attached to it. So when I go to screw this in, not only is the neoprene kind of cushioning the frame so I don't bend, the bejiggers out of it, but also it's great because it's going to prevent any water from getting inside of the aluminum tubing. So yeah, I was pleased that I found those. It totally was not on my radar, but then I was looking for washers and I saw those and I was like, oh, why not? Spend the extra couple of bucks for a little bit of an insurance policy. All right, so I'm going to show you how I did this. It is a bit of a process. I'm not going to lie. I'll show you how I do one, and then what I'll do is I'll throw you into fast forward mode and I will get all of them taken care of. All right, so I can't believe how muddy it is back here. What I first do is I bought myself a diamond tip drill bit, and this is designed to go through metal. Honestly, for aluminum, I probably could have used something, normal. I didn't probably have to get a diamond tip drill bit, but I just wanted to make sure that the hole was clean and that I would have no problems dealing with that. So what you want to do first is, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pre-drill a hole, okay? Actually, I want to do it over here so you can have a better view of it. Okay. It's a little awkward because the tube is round. All right, got through one end. And I got through the other. All right. Then I'm going to change out my drill bit for the bit that goes on the deck screw. All right. I'm going to take a deck screw. I'm going to put one of these neoprene washers on, and it just barely fits. I did that on purpose. I want it to be nice and snug. All right. All right, here we go. There we go. Firmly attached. That's not going anywhere. So I'm going to be doing several along both the sides just to make sure that it's nice and secure, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. All right, everything is secured and looking good. So I did go around the base, and everything is really, really tight, and I don't know, I just feel really good about it. I really do. It's not moving. The base is not moving, that's for sure. However, sorry, this tripod is rather awkward. This is an absolute muddy mess, by the way. So now that the base is secure, I know very well that there is no possible way that the wind could lift this tunnel up unless it, oh golly, touch wood. It's heavy. It's really, really heavy. It's really, really secure. Now, the base is secure. However, this bothers me. And it didn't bother me last year when I put the tunnel up because it just didn't. And then after the wind took care of it, I thought to myself, it would be a really good idea for me to somehow make sure that this is more secure. So the plan is, first of all, if you notice, there isn't a central railing on this. That's really kind of bad news for this neck of the woods. The snow will land on top, and even though these feel rather tight and secure, I really would like something that's going to go all the way across the very top. So I was kind of thinking in my mind that maybe I can use some of what was left of Polytunnel, Alpha, to connect a railing to go across. But then I also thought to myself, if that fails, it's already failed once, I don't want to have to deal with that. So the plan is I'm going to do a doorway here, okay, rather big doorway, a doorway down there. They're going to be matching. And then I'm going to attach to the doorway a wooden rail that runs the length. Now, I'm not going to be able to get a 20-foot railing into this polytunnel. It's not going to happen. I can't, you know, 10 feet of it will be sticking out of the back of my car. I can't do that. So I'm going to put two smaller sections. And right here, this is the middle ring, okay, the middle arch. I'm going to do something here, probably that runs downwards, a frame that runs downwards towards the bed and connect to the raised bed portion. It's not built yet, but so it'll come straight down just to give this a little bit more fortification, just for my own peace of mind. So that's what's going to be happening in the next video. I'm going to be going back to the big box store. I'm going to be purchasing 2x4s. I'm not going to use anything smaller than that. And I'm going to get the doors built, the railing built, and then the support built. From there, I will also be able to put the cover on. And what I'll do is, once the cover is on, I'm going to take 2x4s along the base, and where the cover kind of overlaps, I'm going to use it as a cleat. I'm going to cleat the cover right to the base. Okay, and the idea also is I'm going to be able to pull it as tight as I possibly can so that this is as tight as a drum. All right, that's where we're going. And I think, fingers crossed, I think that will be really the key to making sure that this is going to stay put and it's not going to go anywhere. The wind will do nothing to it. It will be secure. It will be here to stay. So I'm so happy about this. I really am. I'm going to do a little cleanup and then come and join me in the shed. All right. All in a day's work. Honestly, I got out here kind of early, so I still have a lot of time. I think I might move the rest of that compost pile. I think things have thawed out enough that I can do that. It's good, I can get that off the list. So, yes, next time we see each other in Polytunnel land, it's going to be the fortification. And I'm not going to be taking this lightly. I'm going to make sure that that frame does not move for love or money. And from there, I mean, I can just throw the cover over it, cleat it down, and it's ready to go. I'm going to have to obviously build the beds inside, but that's not going to be, that's going to be enjoyable. It really is. But once everything's up and the doors are in and all that great stuff, oh, it's going to be good to go. I don't even have to create the beds right away. I can, honestly, I could set some tables up in there and really start my mass sewings. I'm going to wait off on that though. So I hope that you guys like this progress. It's slow and steady, but again, I'm trying to get out here as much as possible, and I'm really pleased at where I am right now. A couple other odd jobs that will be happening that I may not necessarily video are my peppers and my eggplant they're ready. They are ready to come out of those cells, and they need to come into bigger pots. And I think from there I'm going to be moving them into my heated greenhouse because there are things on the horizon that will be coming up. For instance, this Saturday will be, even though I'm filming this on Saturday, you're probably not going to see it until Wednesday. But this coming Saturday, the 27th of March, we will commence the hashtag Transatlantic Melon Challenge with the lovely Jane Kelly. And that video will be going up, and I need the space. I need a place to put those melons. So there's going to be a video of me sewing those, and then I'm going to need that real estate. So peppers and eggplant come out, melons go in. And then from there are a couple other things that need to be done as well. There's a couple of projects that I've got looming. I've got a upcycle DIY video coming your way pretty soon. And it has to do with some infrastructure that was pre-existing that's almost no longer with us. I'm not going to tell you anymore, but we love a good DIY upcycle. And I have to say, the boon of me finding the upcycle object, oh my goodness. It was my first garbage pick of the year, and what a find. What a find. All right, my friends, hope you're all well. Hope that you're enjoying spring. Hope that spring is enjoying you. Get out there, get your hands muddy, get your boots muddy. I've got like, I don't know, I look like a hobbit right now because I've got so much caked on my wellies right now. It's kind of funny. I will see you guys very soon. And I hope you're all doing well. So, from me to you, enjoy this weather. I'll be back real soon for with some more content. Take care, guys. So long.